A lot of people ask me, Jeffrey, you're so successful. You're probably a millionaire. What's your secret? You are on YouTube after all, so you must be some type of guru or something. Well, my response is, little grasshopper, this is my secret. I tricked my wife into marrying me and now she makes a lot of money. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next video. All kidding aside, I do know a thing or two about money. And if you want to be a millionaire by age 32 and you are 21 years of age or younger, then this video is for you. And if you're older than 21, that's okay. This method will take about 11 years starting at $0. It is, in my opinion, the best method for 95% of the people out there. You don't have to start a business, you don't have to be a genius, you don't have to be good at sales, and you don't have to work 12 hours a day. My inner Asian dad is gonna come on right now, but it relies on the traditional path of going to college, studying hard, and getting a high-paying job. If you're older, then it relies on having a job that pays $75,000 or more, or having a job and a side hustle to make up for a lower income. Now, a lot of people will say, Jeffrey, you don't need a college degree. Look at this guy or that guy. They don't have college degrees and they're multimillionaires. Yes, it's true. You don't need a college degree in order to be successful, but without one, you're just gonna have a tougher time. If you talk to anyone who is successful and doesn't have a college degree, and they're not a genius, and you ask them their story about how they became successful, they will often tell you about a period of time where they went through immense suffering and uncertainty. Why focus on the hard way to do something when you can do it the easy way? Why live the life of a stray cat where you have to take care of yourself when you can live the life of a domestic cat and have an owner take care of you? I'm not saying college is easy, and this video is not about the benefits of college. I'm not here to preach anything. In fact, I screwed around when I was younger, and even though I do have a college degree, I didn't study hard when I was younger, and I didn't get a high quality degree. So, like most people, I had to pay the price for not studying harder when I was younger. What this video is about, though, is about how just about anyone can be a millionaire by age 32 by just walking the traditional path that has already been set out for you and not making any financial mistakes. In order to do this, we're going to talk about a story about two imaginary people. Person one is named Jeffrey and person two is named Jefferson. I know, real original. I made a spreadsheet for each imaginary person, and I'm not going to go through each spreadsheet line by line because it's going to put you to sleep. So instead, I'm just going to walk you through their imaginary lives, and at the end of the video, I'm going to talk about the financial mistakes that Jeffrey made and Jefferson avoided. So let's get started. So both Jeffrey and Jefferson have average intelligence, but Jeffrey was not very focused in school. He is also not financially irresponsible, but Jeffrey will make financial decisions that most normal people will make. On the other hand, Jefferson understood the importance of having a high income early in life, so he was focused in school. He also understood personal finance and the power of compound interest. So even though he will make a high income, he will live as frugally as possible after college, and he will invest the majority of his income. So I will have to make a couple of assumptions in their imaginary lives, but the assumptions are not important. It's the concepts that are important. And this is what I'm gonna try to communicate. So Jeffrey went to college and he racked up some student loan debt. He graduated with a degree in business administration, and after college, he got a job making $37,000 per year, which, by the way, is higher than my actual starting pay after college. So Jeffrey lives in a small apartment and he drives a cheap car. And he goes out to eat maybe once a week, and he goes out and does something fun with his friends once every 2 weeks or so. Also, every year he takes a small vacation to somewhere local. So in other words, he's pretty frugal. Jeffrey contributes 4% of his income to his 401k, where his employer also matches his 4%. He doesn't do any other investing because the rest of his money goes towards his living expenses, which is about $2,450 per month or $29,400 per year. Jefferson was able to secure grants and scholarships for college, and he also worked during the summers and had some internships throughout college. After college, he got a job as a junior software engineer making $75,000 per year. And he lives about the same life as Jeffrey, except that after college, he moved back home with his parents. Jefferson's employer also matches 4% of his income towards his 401k, but he contributes the maximum to his 401k, which is $19,500. He also contributes the maximum to his Roth IRA, which is $6,000, and the maximum to his HSA, Health Savings Account, which is $3,500. And since he lives at home and he doesn't have any student loan debt, his monthly expenses are about $1,150 per month, or $13,800 per year. With any money left over, he invests into a taxable investment account where he just buys index funds. After 3 years, Jeffrey's net worth is $17,200 and Jefferson's net worth is $181,108. Jeffrey and Jefferson are 25 years old, and Jeffrey now makes a little over $47,000 per year. His lifestyle hasn't increased so far, so now he has some money in the bank, but he's tired of feeling poor all the time. So he upgrades his car and he goes out a little bit more. He's also never been outside the country before, so he feels like he needs to travel the world now while he's still young. So his monthly expenses go up slightly in order to match his small lifestyle increase. He now spends $3,300 per month, or $39,600 per year. There's a couple of phases that people go through that cause them to spend more money as they get older. I call this phase the transition to middle class. Meanwhile, Jefferson is doing the exact same thing. He still lives at home with his parents. He does pay a little bit in utilities and he does buy the groceries sometimes, but other than that, he lives rent-free. He hasn't even gotten raises at work yet, except for some cost of living increases, but he still lives frugally and he's able to save and invest 70% of his income. By the end of year 6, at age 27, Jeffrey's net worth is $38,086 and Jefferson's net worth is $439,059. At age 28, Jeffrey is just killing it at work and he gets another raise and makes about $60,000 per year. He also likes driving new cars, so his current car is about 3 years old, so it's time for another upgrade. He gets a new car, but nothing fancy. He does get an SUV though, because he's thinking about marrying his long-term girlfriend and eventually moving into a house, so he needs the extra storage space in order to move things around. He eventually buys a $5,000 ring and he works up the courage to propose to his girlfriend. She says yes. They end up spending $30,000 on their wedding and $5,000 on their honeymoon. Because of all these new expenses, his monthly spend ends up adding up to about $4,450 or $53,400. I call this phase the setup to the American dream. Jefferson finally gets promoted and by age 28 is making a little bit over $104,000. He's doing the exact same thing by living at home and spending as little money as possible. But he also feels that he needs to travel the world while he is still young. So he learns about credit card churning. Through credit card churning, he's able to travel internationally for cheap. And also now his investments are generating a good amount of income. He doesn't even know much or put a lot of effort into investing. He just puts his money in index funds that return about 7% per year, which is a conservative assumption. By the end of year 9 at age 30, Jeffrey's net worth is about $45,000 and Jefferson's net worth is about $796,000. Jeffrey gets yet another raise and by age 31 is making over $76,000 per year. But he's married now, so he's ready to buy a house and have a kid. So they go out house hunting and they look at houses that cost a little bit more than what Jeffrey is comfortable with spending. But he makes a good salary now, and with his income and his wife's income combined, they make well over $100,000, which is supposed to be a lot of money, right? So they end up getting the house, and even though Jeffrey doesn't get exactly what he wants in the house, they still end up spending a little bit more than what he was wanting to spend on a house. So they also decide to have a kid. And we can't really assume how much Jeffrey's wife makes, but let's just say that Jeffrey's portion of the expenses goes up and he ends up spending $5,000 per month or about $60,000 per year. I call this phase the transition into the American dream. Meanwhile, Jefferson has finally hit his stride at work and at age 31 is making about $133,000 per year. He gets made fun of by his friends for still living at home with his parents, and he sees some of his friends getting married and having kids. Although he is way ahead financially compared to his peers, he feels behind in life. But nevertheless, he continues and does the same thing. By the end of year 11 at age 32, Jeffrey's net worth is just over $55,000 and Jefferson's net worth is over $1.1 million. Jefferson has finally reached over $1 million net worth, and his net worth is about 20 times the net worth of Jeffrey's. The story goes on. Jeffrey continues to get raises at work, but the expenses keep coming. A second kid. Now the house is getting too crowded, so a new house. Now the kid is going to learn how to drive, so a new car. Now the kids have to go to college, so they have to pay for that too. One turn of bad luck and Jeffrey is on the brink of financial ruin. They don't even travel anymore until age 43 because finances are so tight. And it's not until age 52, when both their kids are out of college, can they even think about saving for retirement. For Jefferson, his options are plenty at age 32. He can stop all investing except for his 401k up to his employer's match, and this would give him nearly $100,000 to spend however he'd like. He can go on lavish vacations every year, he can buy a new house, he can drive luxury cars, and he can eat fancy meals. Or he could finally think about getting married and providing everything he wants and needs for his family. He can have a big fancy wedding, he can buy the house in the neighborhood he wants, he can pay for his kids' education, all without stress. Or if he decides to, he can do the same thing. He can live at home and be as frugal as possible. And if he does this for the next 5 years, he can retire with a $2 million net worth at age 37. But no matter what he does, his retirement is taken care of. If he wants to quit his job and travel the world or spend more time with his loved ones, he can. If he wants to quit his job just because he hates it, he can. If he wants to make a career change so he can start a YouTube channel featuring his cats, he can. So that's the life of Jeffrey and Jefferson. I'm not saying that Jeffrey had a bad life and Jefferson had a good life. I would say that they both had fulfilling lives, but Jeffrey's life was significantly more stressful overall. And even though Jefferson probably had more stress early in life, when he was ready to start a family, he could do so relatively stress-free. I would also note that Jeffrey wasn't stupid, he didn't spend a crazy amount of money, and he was relatively hardworking, but he always felt broke. And this is because he just went through the natural phases of life that caused him to spend more money. And I spoke about these phases earlier, but these phases are the transition to middle class, the setup for the American dream, and the transition into the American dream. So if you are still young and you haven't gone through these phases yet, you can prepare now financially so that when you do go through those phases, you'll have a much easier time. Today, I'm 32 and I'm neither living the life of Jeffrey nor Jefferson. I've done some good things financially, but I've also made some mistakes, which is okay because everyone makes mistakes, which is part of the reason why I made this channel, to teach and give financial advice to those younger than me. So if I can go back in time and give myself advice, it would be this. Number 1, pick a major in college where you can graduate in 4 years and make a good income. For me, that would be computer science. Number 2, graduate college without any debt, or at least as little debt as possible. Number 3, max out your 401k, your Roth IRA, and your HSA. Number 4, live at home with your parents for at least the first 5 years, preferably the first 10 years. Number 5, live as frugally as possible for your first 5 years, preferably your first 10 years. This means driving a cheap car, don't spend a ton on a wedding, don't go out to eat too much, or don't go out to have fun too much. And don't go on any international trips unless you can pay with it with credit card points. And number 5, with any money left over, invest in index fund using a taxable account. These pieces of advice sound like they're for younger people, but actually at any age you can follow these guidelines. Jefferson started at $0 at age 21, and by the time he was 32, 11 years later, he was set for life. Anyone who is willing to put their life on hold for 11 years to focus on their career and their retirement will definitely find success. It's just that the older you get, the harder it is to put your life on hold, but it's technically still possible. All right, so I am new to YouTube, so I am genuinely unsure of what direction to take this channel. So if you like this type of content, give this video a like so I know what type of content to put out. And if you want to learn how to make money with a side hustle, I made a video series about that you can check out here. Otherwise, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.